You're listening to the Best Morning Routine Ever podcast, the show that proves no one stumbles upon success ever. With your host, Lou Need. Every Mondays and Thursdays, we deliver cold hard evidence behind the power of a robust morning routine. Get ready to be transformed by the renewal of your mind.
Hello, morning enthusiasts. Welcome to the Best Morning Routine Ever podcast. I am your host, Dr. Lou Need, and today I am elated. I'm super excited to have this young man here with us today, Brent Kesler. Now, he is the owner and CEO of the Money Multiplier, and this is a unique concept that no one else is doing, and so that's why I'm intrigued, and you should be as well. And so what's happening, it's a leading authority on personal finance and wealth building strategy. Yeah, so he is a former chiropractor. He applied the very method he now teaches, the Money Multiplier, to eliminate nearly, get this, $1 million in debt. And that happened in under 3 years, like unheard of, right? So for over a decade, he has been a passionate advocate for the infinite banking concept, which we will talk about. That is a new one. He's going to educate us about it and simply educating thousands on how to take control of their finances and creating lasting wealth. So with no further ado, Brent, welcome to the show.
Hey, Dr. Lundy, thanks for having me. I'm excited to share today.
Yes, I'm so elated to have you on here. So before we dive into it, I want to know, how does a chiropractor go from cracking my back into a money multiplier?
Yeah, actually, so my wife asked that question too, back in the day. But yeah, it's kind of a crazy story. I'm still a chiropractor, but I don't practice anymore. I had 5 clinics in the Kansas City area. However, I haven't practiced since 2008 because I had associate docs in the clinic, and I sold my last clinic in 2017. So the concept that I teach, the infinite banking concept, I first learned about it in 2006. I was actually at a chiropractic conference, and I heard somebody speaking on this concept, how to build, keep, and create wealth through your own debts and expenses that you already have. And I thought, man, that is great information, but it sounds too good to be true. And I didn't believe it. So I left that conference in 2006. I did nothing. At all. Then I go back to another chiropractic conference in 2008. And about 10 or 12 of my colleagues that were at the previous conference are now at this new conference with me. Now, the only difference between me and them, Dr. Lundy, is they actually implemented and started the process when they first heard about it. So what they were doing, they were coming up to me, ranting and raving, going on and on about, Brent, isn't this banking concept the most powerful thing ever to build, keep, and create wealth, to pay off your debt, to recapture, recycle your money, to keep all your money in the family? So I thought to myself, there has to be something to this, right? Because there's no way 10 or 12 of my colleagues are lying, maybe 1 or 2, but not 10 or 12. So I came home and I told my wife in February of 2008, I said, honey, we have to start implementing this concept in our life. And at that time, I was $984,711 in debt. That's what I owed to the third-party creditors. Now, I know what the listeners are thinking. They're thinking, well, how does a guy get to be $1 million in debt? Now, I know if you live somewhere like San Diego, California, that buys you a very small house. Mm-hmm. But in Kansas, it buys you a lot of stuff, right? Well, I had the house that I lived in, my student loans from chiropractic school. I had a house on the Lake of the Ozarks between St. Louis and Kansas City. And if you have a house on the lake, you got to have a boat and a wave runner. I'm also an airplane pilot. So as an airplane pilot, I had to have my own airplane. Well, it didn't take me a lot to become $1 million in debt. I was able to put this concept in place, and I was able to pay all that debt off in 39 months, 3 years and 3 months. And all I had to do, Dr. Lundy, is I just added one step in my financial life. In other words, I never had to work any harder, change my cash flow, take additional risk, or lose control of my money. I simply just added one step. So then I became very passionate about it. So I now, just since March of 2012, so going on 13 and a half years now, I've been teaching this concept around the country, 50 to 70 live events a year, 100 to 120 Zoom virtual podcast events. So we're all over the country teaching others this concept about how to break the bonds of financial slavery that you don't even realize you're in and start taking control of your own money. So that's what we teach.
Wow. And you said regardless of income, because you did not change your income. You didn't work harder. You didn't go get a second clinic. You told me earlier, you kind of sold off your last one in 2017. You sold off your last chiropractor clinic. So tell me about that, because you say regardless of income, you were able to pay all this debt. And now
absolutely. Regardless of income. Yep. And again, so the thing I say all the time is it doesn't matter if you make $10 an hour or $10,000 an hour. Everybody needs to take control of their own money. I mean, if you just think about what are we doing with our money now? Okay. So like most people, or a lot of people, are really good at making money, but the majority of those people suck at keeping their money, right? So that's what we do, is we help you to keep control of your own money. Because if you think about all the noise that's going on out there in the financial world, okay? So again, think about what your parents have taught you, your grandparents, your friends, your colleagues, and your coworkers. They tell you to go out, they tell you to get a good job, work a long time, and then at the end of 30, 40 years of work, the government will take care of you, right? Well, we know that's not the truth, and that's not what is what's happening. And we're also taught to give up control of our money. And the thing I mean about that is the thing that we're mainly taught is let's put our money in 401ks, IRAs, qualified plans, all these government plans to where we give up control of that money. So that money's being controlled by someone else, and we take on all of the risk. Because just think about your 401k, IRA, or qualified plan that you have right now. Are there any guarantees with that money? No. Well, actually, there is one guarantee. Okay, so the value is guaranteed to never go below zero. But wouldn't that suck if that really happened, right? And who's taking all of the risk? It's you taking the risk, because that number can go down. It's not guaranteed to go up. And how long do you have to leave that money in a qualified plan? Well, usually until you're age 59 and a half, unless you want to pay the penalties. The tax is always going to be there no matter when you get the money out. So the thing that we teach is how you use your money now, instead of giving it up to other people, to pay your debts, your expenses, to fund your lifestyle, to fund everything that you're doing in your own life. In other words, create your own banking system. Now, Dr. Lundy, the concept that I teach, I did not invent it. I did not create it. There's a guy that wrote a book called Becoming Your Own Banker. Okay. His name is R. Nelson Nash. Now, R. Nelson Nash was my mentor. Now, R. Nelson Nash passed away about 6 years ago in March of 2019 at age 87 years old. This book that he wrote completely changed my financial life. I'm going to recommend that all of your listeners, your entire community, go out and find that book. Wherever you buy books at, go find that book, Becoming Your Own Banker. And that is like your banking Bible. Mm-hmm. It's like your financial literacy Bible is that book on money and finances. Yeah. So then I wrote a book about 5 years ago called Mapping Out the Millionaire Mystery. Now, I know at the end, I'm going to share with your listeners that I'm going to send all your listeners that reach out to me or go to our website, themoneymultiplier.com, how to get this ebook for free. All you got to do is send us an email or go on there and say, hey, please send me your ebook, and we'll send you the ebook version of that book called Mapping Out the Millionaire Mystery.
Yeah. Tell us what the concept is. The infinite.
Yeah, the concept, again, all right, the concept is not new. It's not on trial. It's not being tested. It's been around for over 250 years. As a matter of fact, if you do some research on how the wealthy build, keep, and create wealth, This is exactly how they do it. I'm talking about the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the Morgans, the Stanleys, the Barclays. This is how Walt Disney built Disneyland. It's how Ray Kroc funded McDonald's. It's how Pampered Chef got started before Warren Buffett purchased Pampered Chef. So the concept is not new. It's not on trial. All we're going to do is use the tools that the wealthy have been using for over 200 years. So we're not going to reinvent the wheel. But the thing we have to have is the knowledge of how to use the tools. Most people don't even know this concept exists. They just have no idea. And after a lot of people discover it and they learn it, there's either one or two things that happen. They either look at it and say, there's got to be a catch there. Remember me? It took me 2 years because I thought there was a catch. It was too good to be true. So people either say there's got to be something else to this. There has to be a catch because it seems too good to be true. Or what people do is they say, oh my gosh, I knew there was something out there that had to be different than what we've been taught in conventional mindset and conventional systems about money. So I challenged your community, don't take my word about this as far as just listen to me. I want you to go out there and I want you to Google my name, Brent Kesler with one S. Go Google the company, the Money Multiplier. I want you to look at the hundreds and hundreds of success stories, testimonials, plan designs, case studies that come up and how people are talking about how this concept changes their financial life. I work with over 17,000 people in every state of the country and about 70 to 80 new people every single week. So don't take my word for it. Go listen to what other people are doing. Now, to give you a high level of how it works, how we're going to build, keep, and create wealth is we're going to add one step in our financial life. Now, I'm about to tell you that step, and a lot of you guys are going to be like, what? That makes no sense at all. But just hang with me. The thing we're going to do is we're going to purchase the thing. We start with one, maybe go to more. What we're going to do is we're going to purchase a whole life insurance policy in a mutual company that pays dividends. Now, I know I just said that bad word, life insurance, and the listeners are automatically thinking life insurance to build wealth. Why on earth would I ever want to do that? That is a crazy idea. As a matter of fact, Dave Ramsey and Susie Orman said that would be a bad idea to buy life insurance to build wealth. Well, let me be clear. You do not know everything there is to know about this concept, because if you did, you would be implementing it in your own life. Now, also, keep in mind, this is not any type of life insurance policy. No. This is a specifically designed, specially engineered whole life insurance policy in a mutual company that pays dividends, that is designed for high immediate cash value. One more time, high immediate cash value. So what that means, Dr. Lundy, is when you put money into this type of policy, you have cash value immediately. And my definition of immediately is within 30 days. It's not a term policy. It's not a universal policy. It's not a variable. It's not an index universal, an IUL policy. No. It is a specifically designed, specially engineered whole life policy that is designed specifically for cash value growth and buildup, and for you to be able to use that cash immediately.
Yeah, you believe it's a powerful tool. Well, how come a lot of people avoid it?
Well, I would say people don't necessarily avoid it. People don't know about it, and they're skeptical of things that they don't know about. And your friends, colleagues, and coworkers aren't teaching you this concept. Because I will tell you, when I learned about this, I was mad at my parents for not telling me. But the only reason my parents didn't tell me is because they didn't know themselves. Right? So people just don't know what they don't know. I mean, if you know what's going on, you will know what to do. So also, just to hit on another point. So anyway, there's a guy out there named Robert Kiyosaki. He wrote a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That's the book he's famous for. He also wrote another book called Second Chance. In that book, Second Chance, the concept I teach is exactly what Robert Kiyosaki talks about. One more author, Tony Robbins. A lot of you may have heard of Tony Robbins. He wrote the book called Money Master the Game. In chapter 5.4 of Tony Robbins' book, Money Master the Game, I teach exactly what Tony Robbins talks about. Now, the problem is with those books, okay, if you or the listeners have read them, you usually read right through it because they make it too complicated to understand how to apply the concept in your own life. They read right through it, don't really understand what's going on, and a confused mind cannot make a decision. So I break this down into a very simple third grade, easy to follow platform. As a matter of fact, on our website, www.themoneymultiplier.com, I have a full 90 plus minute presentation. It's all recorded. You go on and watch it. You can watch it in parts, however you want to. And it goes through exactly how this concept works. It has the examples, the downloadable attachments that you can print out and follow along. So before anybody gets in to this, or they're like, okay, well, let me talk to somebody, or let me talk to like a money mentor at the Money Multiplier, the first thing you should do is either read this book or read this book, and or go watch that 90 plus minute recorded presentation on our website. Because once you watch that presentation, you will be like, oh my gosh, it's either too good to be true, this has got to be a scam, or there's got to be something to this, and let me find out a little bit more and get my questions answered.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. For the sake of time, I do want to get into your morning routine real quick. How do you get up, dress up, and show up?
Well, so let me tell you, every morning when I get up, I always walk my dog in the morning. It's about an hour walk. Okay. That's just, I mean, and again, so I think that probably if I didn't have a dog, or, okay, so like if the dog is at my parents' house or something and the dog's not here, I tend not to go on that walk or do that exercise, right? So it's good to have a dog because it kind of keeps me exercising, right? But anyway, here's what I do. The first thing I do every morning is I go to all of my bank accounts and I look at my bank accounts. And I want to know the money that came in the day before and the money that went out. And I don't do that because I'm just like, as far as greedy about money that way. I was taught by a mentor that so like anything that you track is going to grow. And then if I report that stat, like if I report that stat to others and say, oh, I bought in $4,000 a day, but I spent $5,000 or whatever it is, I report that to others that are like my colleagues or my coaches or my mentors, because anything that you report, that you track and report to others, grows exponentially. Sometimes it's painful to open up your bank statement and look and see where you're at. I mean, it's just painful, right? Or I do that with my bank statements, and I also do that with my credit card charges because I want to see what I put on credit cards. I very, very seldom pay cash for anything. I mean, I'll go in a 7-Eleven and buy a Slurpee and put it on a credit card because I want to track every one of my purchases, right? So by putting it on a credit card, I'm able to track that. And then really a credit card is an asset if you pay it off every month because you're building like airplane miles, hotel points, and things like that. And then I also usually do a reading, a devotional reading, like on a day. I got like all these days and the months and everything, and I'll read that. And then I'm trying to look at something like just positive, where I think the three things that people really need to have is mindset, system, and mentor. So you have to be in the right mindset. And a lot of what I talk about is money mindset. You have to have systems and protocols that you follow, kind of like a routine, and I'm not a very routine person, but I'm more of a routine person than what I probably think I am. And then also mentors. I believe everybody needs a coach and everybody needs a mentor to help you just to make sure you're going down the right path of like whatever that path may be. It doesn't have to be money. It could be financial, health. It could be physical. It could be emotional. It could be spiritual. There's all kind of different areas of our life, and we all need a mentor to help us to keep all of the life balances in check, because it is very, very easy to get out of balance. Yeah. So I like to think that I am the financial coach. If you notice the back of my cell phone, it says the Money Multiplier. I have a QR code that goes directly to my presentation. So when somebody comes up and asks me what I do, I say, scan that QR code, watch that presentation. This is what I do. I help people build, keep, and create wealth through their own debts and expenses they already have. And if you see that, it says Brent Kesler, the money coach, right? The money coach.
Yeah. And I agree with you with the mentorship piece of it, because and coaching as well, because then you can curve there's a learning curve that is in effect. You can, what it took you 3-4 years to learn, you can actually transmute.
Absolutely. You can bypass a lot of that stuff.
And so I definitely agree with you. Tell us again, really appreciate you sharing with us. I'm curious, tell us how to connect with you. Where can we find you?
Yeah. Well, probably the easiest thing is, so either or, you can send me an email, Brent@themoneymultiplier.com, Brent, the @ the moneymultiplier.com, or you can go to our website, www.themoneymultiplier.com. We have, again, I have my full 90-minute presentation on there. When you get to the website, just click on Watch Brent Now. And there's also about 70 plus other videos that are on there as well. So that's the easiest way. I also encourage you to follow my daughter. Her name is Hannah. She's 25 years old. Hannah's wrote a couple books. One's called The Single Millionaire Chick, and the other is called The Companion. And The Companion is a children's book teaching children about money, because we need to teach our children about money. And also Hannah has a podcast, The Money Multiplier Podcast. She's probably got about 180 plus episodes out there now, records one every single week. So go follow her on her podcast as well. And Hannah does a lot what I do. She travels around. She speaks on stage. However, Hannah's on a lot of TV shows. She's on radio and, all of that. She's traveled around and speaking on stage as well. So I'm proud of her, because the student has become the teacher.
Yeah, appreciate you sharing that. Brent, it's been such a pleasure having you on. Thank you so much for coming on and joining us today.
Hey, Dr. Lundy, thanks for having me on. I know you have many, many choices of guests to invite, and I'm truly honored that you selected me as one of your guests. So thank you, and I'm here to serve your community in any way that I can.
My pleasure.
Well, all right, morning enthusiasts, that's it for today's show. Thank you for tuning in. If you love the Best Morning Routine Ever podcast, we'd love to hear from you. So go ahead and subscribe, rate, and give a review on iTunes or Google Play. While you're at it, tell a friend about the show. Be sure to visit bestmorningroutineever.com and our Facebook group to join the conversation, access the show notes, and discover our fantastic free bonus content. Until next time,